Those guys were easy. They yielded good XP, but not good enough. Let's see if the dragons will be a bit better. Sounded like this game music.
Speedrunners are some of the most dedicated people that I know. I personally know many who have sunk over 1,000 hours into just one game. But sometimes even that is not enough to be one of the best. I have over 1,800 hours in Resident Evil 4, and all of that is just from speedrunning. That is 2 years worth of dedication to a singular game, and I am only in 13th place. This is totally fine with me, because I am proud of my accomplishments with this game. But for some, that's not enough. For some, they want to be the absolute best. For these individuals, the game often becomes their entire life. In this instance, there are a few who eat, sleep, and breathe Resident Evil 4. Yushi, the long-standing world record holder in Resident Evil 4, has over 2,202 hours, and over 15,000 resets. The insane amount of time invested in a game like this makes players like Yushi unstoppable machines, capable of cranking out consistently miraculous times. But skill is not the only factor when it comes to how fast you can go. Especially at higher levels, RNG, or random number generation, comes into play and can affect a player's capability to improve. RNG is a catch-all term that describes the process of games picking random outcomes by generating numbers. Some events in games like Resident Evil 4 are based entirely in RNG. Sometimes this can be a good thing, and sometimes it's a bad thing. The more RNG a run has, the more difficult it becomes to get the best possible time. So, how much RNG does RE4 actually have? What are the odds you get the perfect run? And what kind of time would someone like Yushi be able to get if they somehow got this perfect run? In order to answer these questions, I started the journey of cataloging all of the potential RNG events in the game and calculating their likelihood. While it's not 100% accurate, I did do at least 50 attempts of each instance and calculated the odds of each outcome. While Resident Evil 4 is not known for having a large amount of RNG, even the smallest things can have a huge impact when playing at the highest level, where every second counts. So let's follow along with the world record holder Yushi and see what kind of RNG Resident Evil 4 has to offer. At the very beginning, we have Leon, bursting his way into this poor Spanish civilian's house. After trying to communicate with him in a language not native to this land, Leon gets frustrated and decides to blow this man's head clean off. The handgun has a 10% chance to critical hit. Assuming you always aimed at the head, this could save 1 second. Next, the start to the bingo sequence, you can also crit this individual for a cool 2-second time save. Also a 10% chance. When running up to your true love, the shotgun, there is a 32% chance that these enemies will throw their axe instead of swinging, saving half a second. This dynamite fellow can extremely rarely throw his dynamite early, losing a few seconds. This canyon is one of the larger reset points in the game. Getting hit here destroys your inventory and loses at least 4 seconds immediately and more time later on. There's about a 22% chance to get random villagers on this bridge. This random dude can be out of the way entirely.
Cow will
Saves
be
about a
good.
second. After we leave the estate, there was one enemy who sometimes dares stand in the way of Leon. This means he needs to be shot. Losing 1 second. For the next 5 minutes or so, the game has almost no random elements, and is mostly execution-based. Until the end of 3-1, that is. 1-3 just so happens to house the world's largest tadpole. This little fella is the single largest piece of RNG in the entire early game. Just 10 minutes in, there is a chance that you will have one of 3 patterns. The early dive is the worst possible pattern, losing 15 to 18 seconds. Then you have the late dive, which loses 10 to 11 seconds. Lastly, you have the coveted no dive, which is the fastest possible fight. With the potential to lose a total of 18 seconds based on pure RNG, Delago is the largest reset point of early. For a runner like Yushi, a late dive is acceptable, but it hurts the chances of a new world record greatly. And an early dive just flat out kills this chance entirely. According to my research, there is actually an exact 1/3 split between each possible option. This means that for a top runner like Yushi, 1/3 of all of your runs will straight up die to this stupid tadpole. It's important to note that not all interactions with enemies have RNG. On Professional, the difficulty is locked to the highest it can go. This allows enemies to have consistent movements and patterns depending on the player's movement. This is also known as manipulating the AI. Precise movement can make enemies do certain patterns, however not in every interaction. Some enemies, no matter what, will have a chance to do multiple patterns. There is a small chance that when you tell Ashley to wait and follow, that this actual large-brained individual will walk around the ladder instead of directly into it. This can actually lose upwards of 20 seconds if Ashley gets grabbed.
Too many buffs.
Here the enemy placement is also random. There is a chance that you'll have to bait an attack instead of just letting Ashley run by. This is a 2-second time loss. Now if you thought Delago was a bad reset point at about 10 minutes into the run, let me introduce you to Lewis's Funhouse, aka Cabin, aka the wooden structure. It is really hard to calculate the chance that you get a good cabin, especially since a good cabin is often referred to as a myth. Basically, Leon and Lewis become a dynamic duo and have to kill 40 enemies as fast as possible. However, you can get up to 2 Plaga spawns at a time, and potentially an unlimited amount of them. Lewis can also randomly crit enemies, which does save time. The first phase is always the same, you get to about 25 kills. After this, there is a lot of randomness that ensues. The best cabin ever recorded was done by Yushi himself, and was completed in 1 minute 46 seconds and 46 milliseconds. That's a whole 4 seconds faster than anyone else. Generally, anything under 2 minutes and 10 seconds is considered a good cabin, especially when sometimes. If somehow you manage to get past the cabin, you are truly a blessed individual. For now, the biggest RNG factors are gone. The Big Cheese has 3 patterns, and they all have an equal chance of occurring. The slowest loses about 6 seconds.
Why is this guy being so annoying right now by actually doing what I want him to be doing?
When Leon and Ashley get to the
There you
castle,
go.
they start to initiate some regime change, but the villagers are fighting back. Catapults have a rare chance to stagger Leon, but Ashley does not care. I can't tell if she's so brave or too stupid to know that she's in danger. 3-second time loss. While Waterhall is mostly based on execution, there is also a lot of RNG involved. The This room is all about adaptation. Runners spend tens of hours in this very room, practicing for every possible outcome. For example, there is a 34% chance to get hit by an archer, and a 30% chance that you get some cultists in your basement. No matter what happens in this room, it can always be outplayed to minimize time loss. This room is a pure showcase of raw talent and adaptability of a player
I know how
like
to
Yushi.
get my XP now.
While the game itself is not known for having lots of RNG, one enemy certainly is. Novicidors, aka Pure Cancer, are these flying invisible bugs that sole purpose is to suck your soul like a Dementor. They show up in 3 instances, and each instance has more and more RNG. This first instance can actually be manipulated almost entirely so that you always get the pattern you're looking for. The only random aspect is this last Novicidor right after the door. A 5-second time loss. Novies aside, archers are the next most random thing in the game. Every archer has a random chance to exterminate your life savings and time saving. This particular archer has a chance to stand in the middle of the room, allowing you to skip throwing a flashbang, which saves about 4 seconds. This gallery can be something akin to the Gathering of the Juggalos.
You know,
These clowns walk the
alternatively, I
door
could
and
just
can often kill you.
not
5
grind
to
and
30
just
second time limits.
play.
Once you pass this point, though,
So yeah,
she has a lot of
V3
time
being
to
a
relax and
lovely.
ponder. You know, actually, how do magnets work?
Yeah,
These shield
she has
bros can get
all
lazy and just
access
nut
to
up
all
the
the
door.
damages
This
now,
saves
but
3 seconds.
I've
There was a
forgotten
bug
a
inside
lot
the
of her
sentence. And on the last one, that sometimes will not break on the
best
first hit.
skills in my
2
opinion.
seconds lost.
Family Swarm,
The Novies now
And
return
Reflector.
and want revenge. There is about
Which
a
I
50%
really, really want.
chance to leave this room alive. 5 seconds of time loss, or
I'll just
potentially
have to
your
wait
entire life.
and be patient till I can get them back.
The
Which
catapults are
won't
back
be
and they
until
want
a very
revenge as
long
well.
time.
50% chance to stagger.
I think I can get away with not
4
having
seconds.
Family Swarm.
Some cultists get really brave and charge forward past the crowd. Beam Bridge is aptly
This
named.
still requires 5,
4
but
seconds gone.
this one only requires 3 more
Once
levels.
Yushi reaches the merchant, he gets granted the gift of the gods and now can run really, really fast. Thanks to our homie Div.
Let's just
The
go.
Novies are back for their last stand, and they're pissed. More than 65% of all runs totally die here, and a hit loses 3 seconds. Escaping the cave, Yushi finally can breathe a breath of fresh air, as most RNG in the game is over. Now that Novies are totally past, he mainly has to just worry about the final chapter in the game. This lift is watched over by a guy with way too much dynamite at his disposal. There is a 12% chance that he just goes postal if spammed to with explosives. It's also a 6-second time loss. This flail individual has an 8% chance to ruin your entire life. Also, it's a 6-second time loss. Yushi has to pray and do his best professional baseball player impression for a 40% chance to not get hit while navigating this Miley Cyrus hit single, which is anywhere from a 6-second to a 1-minute time loss, depending on if you get hit with a big boy. U3 has a 70% chance to totally give you the tentacles in this first cage fight. Adapting to this bad pattern loses you about 5 seconds. The other sections of
Bring
U3
the arrow,
can be
why not?
totally manipulated with precise movement. That flail individual from earlier has been transferred to this new location, but his quest to ruin Yushi's life is not over. 6% chance to ruin your life and end an instant. 6-second time loss. Krauser has a lot of weapons at his disposal. The TMP, the grenade, the knife, and even the bow. The only one that actually loses time is the bow. However, it is more likely that you get the bow than all other possible combinations combined. Thanks, game. 55% chance to happen. A 3 30-second time loss. Now that Yushi has crawled his way through an hour and 16 minutes of intense execution and brutal RNG, he faces his last real challenge, 5-4. This chapter is infamous among speedrunners, and the last good push of the run. With archers, Gatling gunners, and axe throwers galore, there's roughly a 29% chance that you'll get through this first short section without taking any hits. If you do take a hit, the chance that you get stun locked and die is also very high. Once past this door, the amount of RNG plummets, and recent manipulations have been found for the triple Gatling gun room. However, in order to perform this specific movement, Yushi needs to be able to perform perfectly.
Oh. I remembered what I was forgetting now.
With the first section of 5-4 done and gone, there is only one more hard room. War Room. Armed with thousands of hours and tens of thousands of attempts, all of the work and dedication runners like Yushi have put into their game culminate into this last push. Yushi brushes past a dozen enemies or so and starts to perform a very precise movement in the hopes that he can manipulate the enemies to do what he wants. It's not 100% consistent, and War Room never likes to play nice. Roughly 78% of the attempts of War Room lose at least some amount of time. And often, rooms like this can just straight up kill you. Once Yushi gets to this door, he climbs the ladder and prays that he won't get hit with this. Every enemy after this part has a random location they can spawn. Using his thousands of hours and immense knowledge and skill, Yushi adapts his way to this section and eventually crosses the threshold to the Silence falls on the man's microphone. He's about to do what was thought would be done. Not only is he on pace to beat the world's fastest recorded time, Resident Evil 4, he's also on pace for the world's first 1:1, a barrier that previously was thought not possible. Yushi's perseverance and grit is palpable, as he does not celebrate early. While there is no more RNG in the game, there is still a few more rooms that must be executed perfectly. As the final boss falls, Yushi lets out a sigh of relief. Now he just has to run to the end, and he can secure his glorious moment. Dead silent, rides the jet ski off into the sunset. And then the moment the timer stops, a wave of joy and relief falls on the earth. Now, surely this is a momentous occasion. Anytime someone beats a world record, it is truly a triumphant moment. Seeing all the time, effort, and emotion invested into someone's craft culminate in one moment is surely a thing of beauty. For runners like Yushi, it is more than just a game. It's a way of pushing yourself past boundaries thought possible.
Leveling up does increase the hits.
The fact that not only for someone to achieve such an insane time,
The minimum, it just changes the minimum.
but also that the stars must align is truly inspiring.
I want level 3 resurrect first.
Countless hours are poured into runs that are just destined for failure. Persevering through these runs that will never make it off the ground makes it so much sweeter when a run finally gets going. Resident Evil 4 has around 32 sections of generalized RPG, culminating into 2 or so minutes of variance between things that can happen. The odds that you get the perfect run where everything goes as planned is approximately a 0.0000000000118% chance of happening. While Yushi did not get the perfect run by any means, he did have to grind through countless attempts to even get a chance at getting a run like the one he did. Yushi and runners like him have accomplished great feats and have truly inspired men like myself. What kind of time can we expect to see if the stars were to align? Well, according to Yushi's Sum of Best segments, the best possible time he could get is a 1:19:41. This matches our estimated time that can be saved if the stars were to truly align. Now, while this will probably never happen, it is really interesting to know just how much the random factor affects the speedrun. Resident Evil 4 was never known for its RNG, but it will forever be known as an amazing speedrun full of amazing people like Yushi. Thank you so much for watching. This is a really new video format for me, so let me know how I can improve it. Major shout out to Yushi for letting me use this footage for this video, and for inspiring many like myself to chase our dreams and crush our goals. If you'd like to see me do some type of video like this in the future for another game, let me know in the comments below. It was a large amount of work getting the data and crunching the numbers for this video, but it made the time fly by as I did on my Twitch stream live. If that interests you at all, come by and say hello. I stream nearly every day.
You ever be playing a video game and be like, yes, I'm enjoying this game and getting used to the controls and the physics engine, and I'm having a great time. And then the game gives you a big old middle finger because it's time for the trashy water level. Water levels are trash! You know, it sort of makes sense. When you're making a video game, you want to mix things up sometimes with the level design. But you shouldn't have a level that just sucks. And in so many games, water levels just suck. And it's all his fault! Mario. You know, in the late 90s, when I was between the ages of 4 and 8, all my friends had an N64. Meanwhile, we still had the NES. Well, actually, my older brother had a Sega Saturn, but the only games we had on it were Daytona and hockey. Anyways, the game that young Mr. Spaceman played most during his formative years, besides the acid trip fever dream that is bump and jump, which I swear I did not imagine it's a real game, Super Mario Bros. 3. Now, this is before the days of saving, so every time you turn the game on, you'd have to start over from the beginning. I didn't know about the warp whistle because, you know, I was 4. So here we go. World 1, I'm already done. World 2, Angry Sun, I'm still having fun. World 3,
Honestly, I kind of almost feel like an idiot for even trying to get Tiger.
Because I hated the water levels. Swimming
Because the
is
cow is
not
just
fun in this
so
game.
good.
You gotta dodge fish and bloopers, but the controls don't really work precisely unless you have the frog suit, which then proceeds to suck on land. The entire world is trash!
When I got to World 3, I would stop playing the game entirely and do my other two favorite kid activities, drinking apple juice and licking batteries. With the jump to 3D Mario, it didn't get any better. Super Mario 64 was a great game until you reach levels like Jolly Roger Bay and Dire Docks, who can dire suck my dick. Not only do you have to again deal with finicky, imprecise controls, you also gotta worry about running out of air, which you can restore by coming up for air, or with collecting coins?
Is this game making a statement on our capitalist society and the rising cost of healthcare? Oh gosh.
These levels have good music and nothing else. They're trash! Super Mario Sunshine takes place on an island surrounded by water. You spend the game spraying water all over the place. The whole game is a water level, and once everyone's a water level, no one will be. The Turbo Nozzle is the most fun nozzle in the game. It lets you run across water like the offspring between the Flash and Jesus. It's a shame it's used for exactly 2 shine sprites in the entire game, and in one of them, it's easier to run back and do it with the hover nozzle instead. There are a few dedicated swimming levels in Sunshine, particularly Noki Bay, where again, the movement is sucky. You have to worry about air even though you're wearing a helmet. You have to precisely spray on the eel's teeth while using tank controls. These levels are trash! Most of the time, the reason water levels suck, it's because the controls are suddenly ass. I get it, you know, swimming in real life is not as quick or precise as walking around on land, but there's no rule saying that it has to be the same way in video games. For example, Mario's Galaxy and Odyssey finally got their water levels right. No, not you, because they finally made the swimming controls not completely suck dick. Galaxy has a turtle shell you can grab onto to make swimming a lot more fun. Odyssey has features like Cheep and Bubble Board you can capture to control and swim better and fly around and stuff. In 3D games, water can help add an extra dimension to the game for more dynamic gameplay. Usually you're walking around in 2 dimensions, maybe occasionally jumping in a third, but being fully immersed in water, you can more freely explore in all 3 dimensions, adding in that Y-axis, or Z-axis, depending on what program you're using. But all too often, either due to technical limitations or not thoroughly tested and refined gameplay, this added freedom instead becomes more of a hindrance on the player, and not in a challenging way, but in an annoying way. Monster Hunter 3 introduced underwater combat to hunt in all 3 dimensions. It's not as bad as some people would say, but it's definitely more clunky and straight up worse than on-foot combat, so it hasn't returned since, because it was trash! This is a common theme. Water levels are just worse than the on-land levels. The most notorious example of the universally despised water levels in the otherwise critically acclaimed Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Despite having the coolest mini-boss fight in the game, the Water Temple is trash! In addition to being very long and just confusing, with rooms that all kind of look the same, and I think you can get soft locked if you use the wrong keys on the wrong locked doors in the wrong order, but having to pause the game and go through menus to equip and unequip the iron boots every time you need to dive and surface really sucks ass. They've since fixed this in the 3DS remake. I've played through N64 Ocarina of Time exactly once, and I never want to again because the Water Temple is trash! The sequel, Majora's Mask, fixed this with the Zora Mask. Swimming with this thing is so fun. It's literally my favorite part of the game. Unfortunately, Majora's Mask has a water level that's somehow even worse than Ocarina's Water Temple, being the Great Bay Temple. This temple is also very confusing and maze-like, has currents that make you get lost, way too long, visually unappealing. I don't ever want to replay it. It's trash! Majora's Mask really is the most overrated Zelda game, huh? But that's a video for another day. Moving on! In Wind Waker, you're in the ocean, so the whole game is a water level. And once everyone's a water level, no one will, but you get it. But despite all the water, you do the least amount of actual swimming of all the 3D Zelda games. Instead, traveling over the water
I keep forgetting I can activate the ARS
with your
thingy.
leaf. Twilight Princess had the Zora tunic, so you don't have to worry about breathing, and the underwater swimming controls worked good enough. In a very rare W for Skyward Sword, it actually had pretty good swimming controls. You can dash to speed it up, but some of the objectives while swimming were... Breath of the Wild barely has any swimming also, unless you're catching fish the America way. Explosions. But it does have the Zora tunic to launch you out of waterfalls like your Magikarp trying to evolve into a Gyarados, which is fun. But when swimming, you gotta watch your stamina or you'll drown. In a lot of these games, you run out of air and drown. Adding in another variable for the player to balance, in this case having to manage lung capacity, could help jazz up the gameplay, but it's usually more of a nuisance than anything else. It doesn't make it more exciting, it makes it more annoying. Mario and and Sonic can breathe in space, but not underwater. Where there's literally oxygen. What do you think the O in H2O is? Sonic is a game all about going fast, so of course he has water levels where you move very slowly and will run out of air, and thousands of kids were traumatized by the drowning music. As a kid, I was stuck on Aquatic Mine for 4 months.
Di ba ba yung content mo eh? Kasi puro yun at yun ang nagagamit mo eh. Kaya di ba ba I'm comparing the walk. I'm using a walkthrough right now. Apparently there's a shortcut here.
As a kid, I was stuck on Aquatic Mine for 4 months, partially because I was afraid of drowning. Also, I was only allowed to play for 2 hours on weekends. That's why I'm amazing at video games, because as a kid I had to play everything very fast and very well to make any progress. Also, every treasure hunting level is bad. They're trash! Because of video games, how many people just associate water with death? My fight or flight response activates even when I'm kayaking to feel the tiniest of waves. We shouldn't be afraid of water. Water. Splatoon just cuts out the middleman. You're not gonna drown. If you touch water, we're just gonna straight up kill you. Water levels are trash speed now. Swimming and diving in Animal Crossing is slow and boring. It's trash! Kingdom Hearts. My friend who's a huge Kingdom Hearts
Good
fan
job.
says that in Kingdom Hearts
Well,
1,
the insta-kill is amazing, so...
not great.
Yeah,
and
no.
in Kingdom Hearts 2,
Definitely.
it was a rhythm game
No
instead.
regrets.
Bad gameplay. Why is it that even people who love Kingdom Hearts never have anything positive to say about it? All of Kingdom Hearts, it's trash! Wii Sports Resort Jet Ski. The motion controls barely work and are very finicky. Takes all the fun out of
Excuse me?
jet skiing. An activity that exists only to have fun. It's trash! Overcooked 2. I accidentally threw a fully chopped rotisserie chicken into the river. It's the game's fault. It's trash! Mario Kart 8. The underwater courses are the most forgettable ones. Your kart's underwater performance is determined by stats you can't even see in the game. In the sandy sections, the kart drifts like trash, and Dolphin Shoals has amazing saxophone playing that you can only hear in the replay mode. It's trash! Surfing sections in Pokemon are some of the worst parts. Diving sucks too. I know that 7.8 out of 10 too much water is a meme, but it's true. There's too much water in Hoenn because the water sections are big and empty and not very fun. It's trash! Fire Emblem boat maps. Oh yeah, everyone loves the boat maps. Oh wait, no they don't. They're trash! Astral Chain doesn't have a water level, that's why it's still the GOAT. So how do we make better water levels? Well, instead of having to slowly push through thick water, I recommend treating it like flying through the air instead. Use the freedom of movement through 3 dimensions to your advantage. Subnautica. I haven't played it myself, but I've seen some of it and I've heard good things about it, and it looks pretty cool. It immerses you into an undersea world with plenty to find, and the traversal through the water doesn't suck. Don't make player moves slowly through the water. I get it. In real life, most people swim much slower than they run. But there's no reason a video game has to be that way. Video games are completely made up. Player encounters water, make them turn into a fish. I don't know. Give them a water jetpack. No, not that one. People don't like playing a section of a game and moving much slower than they do in the rest of the game. Or using worse controls than you have in the rest of the game. Get these trashy water levels out of here. Get this trash out of the ocean! Speaking of getting trash out of the ocean, today's video is being done in collaboration with Team Seas, a huge project to raise $30 million to collect 30 million pounds of trash out of the ocean using robots and stuff. More information about the project and donation links are in the description and pinned comment below, so you can get an actual good description of what this all is. And if you have the means to support it, please consider doing so. I'll be making a donation of my own, plus I'll be donating any and all ad revenue I receive from this video to the cause. So even if you can't donate directly, just by watching this video and sharing it around, you'll be supporting Team Seas. Our oceans are filthy, and that's bad. Together we can help clean up these oceans. And be sure to check out the various content of the other thousands of people who are participating as well. At least, I hope they are, or else this is one big elaborate prank on me. Whoops! Anyways, thanks for watching, and don't forget to grab that subscribe button like it's a life preserver. And also support Team Seeds. And comment below what you think of water levels in video games. Do you love them? Do you hate them? What are some good ones? What are some bad ones? And that's it. Video's over.
Eat it. Uh-oh. I have a bad feeling. Oh. Never seen you before. Jeez. I didn't really lose too much. Anyway, according to the map, I should be close to the next floor, so I'm gonna continue on. On second thought, I'm selling my stuff. It says it lowers monk's presence. Does that actually mean anything? It doesn't say anything about draw rate being decreased. that counts. Nice. More chopping. It's kinda lame how redundant some of those are once you find the nearest. And usually the first one you find is the nearest and most convenient chopping point. Harvesting point. Whatever. They should have made it so that the summons dealt the same damage regardless of where in the line they were. Have I still not spent these? Fuck it. I'll try Form Chi. Any little bit more safety bail can get while in the front line would be nice. If that does work as advertised. Am I? Nice. Nice. Oh wow, full already, huh? I haven't solved that yet. Suppose that's as good a shortcut as any. Skills are shaping up nicely. I think for now I can let go of Veil. Teosra's healing is also satisfactory for me, so I'll get rid of her as well. So that leaves Mara and Iya. Oh, look how strong you are. I don't remember, but does parry protect everyone or just Umag? Even if it only protects Umag, that still synchronizes really well with Provoke. Let me try getting parry. Oh. Well, I guess it works well with Tails, right? Dang it. There you go, finally. 20th floor. Bigger room. Whoa, look at you. I'm gonna guess you're weak to electricity. I guess it doesn't matter. Here we go again, huh? Oh my. Oh. Oh, nice. Oh my. Oh my. Ah. Yep. Interesting. Ah. Oh, you know what? I'm sleepy. I think I'm gonna call it here. Now, no idea what kind of mind game she's trying to play there. Oh hey, it's her! The one I helped from the lighthouse mission and the other one. This one doesn't make that much sense. Oh. Children shouldn't be there. There's lynxes. And those guys are dangerous. Oh boy. Dang it. I'll get the normal dialogue soon enough. Oh. I like your optimism and belief in others, but hmm. I should upgrade a Tori. Might be useful. Let me see that bird problem first. Never stop giving us excuses to come back here, huh? Alright. I'll end things here.